up, Jolynn?
That's what's up.
That's what's up. All right, so what's good, everybody? I am Mark Monroe, accompanied by my wonderful co-host, co-producer, co-creator, good friend, and on top of that, just, everything galactic. But shout outs to the wonderful...
It's jolyngc and the place to be. What's good?
Well, what's good is we are live.
Wait, did it go out?
You got up there and pitch, yeah. So we went out, but you know what? We're good because you're out here breaking microphones and everything else, just like records. So that's what it's always about. And what's good with every single one of you? Welcome to the Come Up series, and today's episode is all about That's What's Up. And so in That's What's Up, we typically talk to entrepreneurs, folks who are on their journey, and also being able to come back and give the community, each and every single one of you, some awesome clues, some awesome pieces, some gems here and there, maybe even some keys that you can unlock something. So that way you don't just hear from us, but you can also hear from other folks. And by the end of the episode, you just sit back and be like, you know what? That's what's up. So y'all, we have quite the episode that's stacked for each and every single one of y'all. And we are very, very excited because there's also a surprise to the guests as well. But Jolynn, first off, let's get some simple things out of the way real quick. Like, for example, if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and be nice and subscribe down below. And on top of that, if you're feeling gracious, go ahead and hit that like button because we truly, truly appreciate it. And finally, go ahead and hit that bell so that way you can be just like Vic. Shout outs to Vic in the building being number one in the chat. He definitely had that bell ready. So,
I haven't seen him in a minute, Mark.
I know. Yo, Vic, where you
that
been?
That brother has been MIA. Okay.
Yo, where you been? Either that he's been in the shadows. Whatever you are, Vic, we salute you for being number one, my guy. And shout out to the Suicide Squad as well. All right, so Jolynn, how did we do in today's markets? Because we're on that energy.
Yeah, we had, that was like a pre-sip for Stock Bay, but we'll get into that. We will get into that. Okay, so what does it, cousins? We got the Dow coming in at a negative 60.10 points. So that brings it to a level of 35,870.95. Then the S&P 500 tried to do a little something today with 15.87 points, bringing the levels up to 4,704.54. And then we got the NASDAQ, doing something respectful, leading the market today at 72.14 points. And that brings us to a level of, we're getting close to 16,000. We're at 15,993.71 points. The VIX came up a little bit to 17.59 points, and the 10-year Treasury note is at a respectable 1.59 percentage points. Heading over to sector performance, as you know, there are 11 sectors. We checked the top 3 and the bottom 3 so we can see what that rotation is looking like. We got consumer discretionary, tech, and health holding it down for the top 3. Bottom 3, financials, utilities, and energy. Now, if you would like to know what the Come Up Series picks are, you can head on over to our Instagram page at That Come Up Series and scroll through to find our latest, one of the latest posts that has those listed out. But these are subject to change. We are at the end of the year. It's time to regroup. So be on the lookout for that because some of these tickers will be getting the axe. Okay. Shout out to NVIDIA, AKA Side Stock Bay, holding it down at 8.25%.
Wait, can I do it? Can I do it?
Go for it. NVIDIA out here doing the Lord's work. We got TSM. Okay, so remember on Tuesday, Mark, we were talking about that confirmation and those levels that were needed to show whether or not TSM was on a breakout vibes or not. So that was around, we needed them to hold like 119 or so. Mm-hmm. TSM was at 123.39 points today. So that was about 3.64 percentage points up. And then we got Restoration Hardware trying to do a little something with 3.05 percentage points to the upside. Now, for our bottom feeders, we have C-Web, which was negative 6.70 points. Robinhood, negative 7.15 points. And then we have a Lucid coming down to negative 10.47 percentage points. So we have NVIDIA, which also had a 52-week high on the high end of 8.25 percentage points to the upside. Then we had Lucid to the downside of 10.47 percentage points. So you can see what the breadth of our stock pick list is looking like. But, Mark, I would be remiss if I did not shout out the following companies.
Of course.
Obviously, shout out NVIDIA for the 52-week high. Apple, 52-week high. Home Depot, 52-week high. Zscaler, 52-week high. And Stock Bay, SMH, holding it down, showing what's up. Another 52-week high. We got AMD out here. AMD was like, y'all ain't gonna count me out. And then we have Microsoft, doing what it does, and ADP. We haven't seen ADP on a 52-week high in a minute, so it is on the move. And then we had aftermarket closing earnings for Intuit. So that was that. So Mark,
small businesses and payrolls and unemployment be making a comeback?
Well, I remember a few episodes ago, you said that was going to be what would show if ADP would.
When you see the payroll numbers get better, then ultimately you'll see ADP on the rise. And then at the same token, Intuit is a good read for small businesses. So shout out to them.
Yeah. So, wait, did I already shout out SMH? Shout out to SMH again. If you don't know, you need to know.
I'm sorry, you were breaking up. So can you say that again?
Shout out to SMH again.
Okay.
So Mark, we have some other. Well, hold on. I need to double check something because I believe, was it XLK? How could I leave XLK out? XLK had a 52-week high as well. At that 170, y'all, at the 170. Okay. And then we have, let me see. XLY did well. It didn't have a 52-week high, though. I mean, it's right below its 52-week high, though. It's on the move. So shout out to those of y'all who are in those positions in your portfolio is thanking you. So Mark, we gathered, some questions today, but I don't know, it's Thursday and normally on Thursdays, that's the time to get a little shady or whatever. So there are some questions, but I can't guarantee y'all that we're going to get to those questions, but I appreciate those of you who did submit questions. I saw a couple of people asking, where do you submit questions? So every Tuesday and Thursday, right when the market, a little after the market closes, on my IG stories, I will put a post so I can collect all the questions. I promise you, if you send me a question via DMs, I might see it and leave you on red because I'm not going to be checking DMs and getting lost in the sauce during the live. So if you have a question, make sure you submit it via the story so that I see it. And don't be surprised if I answer your question back, pointing you to the fact that that was a Googleable question. But it will be respectfully and with love.
Be like, let me Google that.com.
Right. I have not done that to anybody before, but I know what you're talking about. But also, you may get Socratic method as a response. So I may make you answer your own question by answering you or asking you a series of questions that leads you to the answer, because I know y'all be knowing these answers. You're just not confident. And so don't be surprised if then I ask you a question, okay? So, Mark.
Yes?
That's what I was saying. It's Thursday, so, I'm feeling a little shady or whatever, and usually I don't. I usually let you have all the shade, Mark, because I'm an angel out here, and you're the shady one. So.
Whoa. I didn't take any offense to that. I felt like, I feel like my cologne of pettiness is like smelling good and everything else, and also I'm just trying to figure out, honestly, I feel bad because I don't think I can do this shadiness by myself. I don't think that it would do enough justice.
I think you need to bring folks out. What you think?
Know. Which color, which glasses, which shades? I mean, I need some help.
Are we transitioning Should we transition to the
I think it's time to transition.
Okay. Well, y'all know I cannot see without glasses, but I'm gonna put these on. I'm gonna be a part of the
Or should we answer questions first and then get to the shadiness? Because I'm here for it.
I think we need to do all of it. I just think we need to just bring them out.
But I feel like we can't do it without honestly, I feel like I need some shady. So I think we need to raise the level of shadiness in the room. What do you think, y'all in the chat? Do you think it's time that we raise the shadiness?
I need to see some fire
just a little bit, Yo, I already see them throwing up shades in the chat. Like, yo, it's
okay.
So
here we go.
Jolene, like you got the keys to the dough. So
all right, let me turn it or whatever. Okay, I just want to bring to the stage the one, the only, well, the two and the only Kim Miller, as well as Rome Green Jr. Y'all, come on out and join us on the stage. What is up, fellas?
Yo, we here. Yo, I just want to know, like, I just really want to know which color. Or are we gonna make switches tonight?
It depends on the temperature. If it get real shady, throw on the black. Right now, start with the French vanilla.
Yeah, keep it light.
We're gonna keep this room like the VIX. If the VIX starts to rise, then I'm gonna have to switch the shades.
Can I say something before we start, though? Can I say something? I just want to thank you for letting us be part of history, because I don't know if y'all know, but this show is going down in history. This is
absolutely
an important show. On the national internet.
Absolutely.
That's what I call it. The national internet. This is the most important show.
Yeah.
So I just want to thank you for letting us be a part of history.
Nah, man, we'll make history together.
Put some flowers in the chat for them. Put some flowers.
Put your flowers in there.
You know what? It's shadiness.
Yo, I was gonna say, history. Can we talk about the history? Y'all are like YouTube royalty, okay? Like back in the day, like when YouTube was first, like actually, getting started, y'all have created so many trends, so many creative, like Black genius on display. Like talk about like the evolution of Black brilliance. Y'all have some serious stamina. Y'all have some serious longevity up in here. Yes. Okay, man, I want to hear all about your growth. Man. And people are going crazy in the chat. They know y'all. Okay,
so tonight instead of flowers, it's all shades tonight.
Shades.
It's all shade emojis tonight.
The chat not working for me, but I believe it.
We believe it and receive it. We believe it and receive it. No, this is amazing. We're excited, man. We've been talking about this for a minute. We were like, man, when we get on there, it's gonna be nice. So in due time, we here now. So it's exciting.
Yeah. We here.
Yeah.
So where do we even begin, Jolene? Where do we start? Because honestly, we got to start it. I'm gonna start it. Like I said, I'm reading the temperature in the room like the VIX.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna let you play market maker today. Let's Jolene is market maker. If you're shout out to Wall Street Bets people in the room, by the way. Shout out to Wall Street Bets people in the room.
Yo, I think let's start 2 minutes after the beginning.
Ooh.
2 minutes after the beginning.
After the beginning.
So, man, where you want to start from, Ron?
I think we just start from. Just for, I give a little quick thing. All right. So we met in college at 18. All right. 18, solid, young, fresh in Atlanta. Okay.
Snapping era.
Snapping. We were snapping it up, getting it snapping out here. And we met and, it had to be divine intervention because we met the first day of school and then we also all lived on the same floor of the same dorm. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, had to be that divine intervention, you know what I'm saying? Just that those pieces that locked in together. But so we met.
Not just on the same floor, neighbors. Each
neighbors. Yeah, neighbors.
Oh, that's
wow, okay.
Yeah. And so we all were business minded. So I think that's the first thing here is that Dormtainment wasn't our first business. So we're business.
Let me find out.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, listen, you got to start somewhere. You know what I'm saying? And just like the stock market journey, you got to start somewhere.
Facts.
And so we started, we wanted to do a nonprofit for kids, but Cam, tell them what the problem is with a nonprofit at the time for us.
You pretty much got to have profit to start a nonprofit. So we had to figure out some way to get profit.
Yeah. So that was the first issue, and then we were like, you know what? We'll come back. We'll get back to that, and then we started a club promotion group because we were in Atlanta. We were like, oh, we're gonna be club promoters. Passed out flyers around the city. You know what I'm saying? We was being real bullish about it. You know, really sending the flyers out. You know, and then we had our party, and Cam, tell them what happened with that party as well.
So we passed out at least 500 flyers, but only 6 people showed up. And the 6 people were us. So we was like, let's pivot again. Let's get into something else. So
that's the first lesson for every entrepreneur in the chat right now. You know, go ahead and put the power of the pivot, because the power of the pivot is real.
It is very real.
You have to be able to pivot. So long story short, we ended up starting our comedy group in 2009. We were like, you know what? Let's get our LLC. Let's do this the right way this time. Let's do the LLC, tax ID. Let's get everything incorporated, trademark. And we said we want to do it just like a TV show. So we just started doing videos every Sunday at 7, you know, building up this following, like getting people used to a rhythm, you know, getting used to a trend. And so we were doing that every Sunday at 7. That was a beautiful thing. We did that for at least 2. So at the time, from 2009 to 2011, we did that for every Sunday. Built up about 60 to 80,000 subscribers, about like 11 million total channel views, and then we had to make another pivot because our channel got shut down out of nowhere. Like all the videos erased. We had over 200 videos. Everything erased, wiped out.
Wow.
You know. And I don't think a lot of people, even some of our fans, some fans know that story, but they don't know, like a lot of fans don't know that story, that the channel that we have now is a channel that we had to go back and rebuild.
Okay.
And recreate, you know, so yeah.
And that's a wild story. I don't know if y'all want us to tell that story about what happened with that and how the blessing that came from that.
We hear, go ahead. You know,
talk about the blessings and the lessons.
Talk about some blessings.
Okay. One thing I see a lot of people say it's not working for them. I don't know what y'all see on y'all end. Before I start,
what's not working for them? The chat?
People were saying that in the chat, unless my chat. Oh, I don't know.
I see the chat.
I see the chat.
All right. I just want to make sure you're good.
Cool.
All right. So before that channel got deleted, we were like emailing agents, managers, everyone. We wanted a representation, MCN, so we can get paid, because we wasn't getting paid the first 2 years. We were doing it all straight love. We just love. We had a passion for it. So one day we upload a video, and we come back an hour later, our whole channel's deleted.
Wiped.
80,000 subscribers, 200 something videos, 11 million views, gone. So we like, nah, I don't accept that. I'm like John Q. I'm like, nah, I don't accept that. So I refresh it, delete it. Refresh it, delete it. So then all our fans on Twitter going crazy, like, what happened to the channel? And back then, this is 2011, you can't really get in contact with YouTube to see what's going on. So we like panicking, like all this work is gone. So then a fan hits us up and says, I have a cousin that works at YouTube. Would you want to talk to her? I said, please. So we get on the phone with her. And she's talking. She like, okay, I'm a low-level position, but when I go into work tomorrow, I'll try to look into it for you. We were like, thank you so much. So she goes to work the next day, and she says, like, it's a lot of false flagging going on. That was the issue, like a false flagging. It looked like could be people hating, could be copyright strikes, all of that stuff, and that's what's the problem. She's like, I'm going to go to the tech team and see what I can do. So we like, cool, thank you so much. So the next day comes, we don't hear nothing from her. Another day goes by, we don't hear nothing from her. So we like, what's going on? Third day, we reach out to her, she don't answer. So then the fourth day, we reach back out to her cousin, like, can you get in contact with your cousin, please? She ain't been answering. Her cousin tells us her cousin passed away. So we're like, what? And then she said she got hit by 18 rig. We was like, huh? And then she said, well, she didn't even have to tell us she was pregnant at the time. So now we're like, all right.
Trifecta.
We're thinking, we're like, all right, is this a sign we're not supposed to be doing this? Like, is this a sign we need to pivot again? Because that's a wild like chain of events that just happened.
Very.
So we take another day and we just thinking, we like, nah, we came too far. We just got to start over. So we started a new channel. We put the link out, and all our fans started coming back, subscribing. The views started going up crazy, and it looked like it was a new channel blowing up. And as soon as that happened, all those emails we sent, we got responses to agencies. The managers are hitting us up. MCN start hitting us up. So based on that being deleted, we got an agent, we got the manager we wanted, and we started getting paid.
Yeah.
And then we got an unexpected email from Comedy Central saying, we want y'all to come to New York to talk about development.
Yeah.
So everything we were panicking about being deleted and everything was actually a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
So it worked out, and which led to even more things. But it taught me a valuable lesson that sometimes, like, when you think everything is going bad, it's really God making a better foundation for you. Absolutely. Like, to have a breakthrough, you got to have a breakdown. So now when things go bad, I'm like, something good's happening.
And it's just like, at the time we didn't understand it, but I think it's just the law of disproportionate returns. Like everything that we was putting in, everything that we was doing, everything that we was doing, nothing goes to waste. It always comes back. It comes back to this day, literally. I mean, the reason why we even here on this is because of the work that we put in beforehand. So anybody that's listening, if you're an entrepreneur, even in the market, whatever it is, just understand that those disproportionate returns, it comes back. It always comes back. So, yeah. So after that, we just kept on doing our thing. And then, of course, over the years, we amassed 1 million subscribers on the new channel.
I see that plaque in the back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The plaque in the back.
That's not a stunt. That's where it is. This is our podcast room. That's where it lives. So that's not a stunt. That just happened to be there.
And we got to work with, MTV, HBO, Comedy Central, stuff like that. And, still working to this day. So glad to be here,
So question. Yeah. So I guess, because you guys all started off as business partners.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, there's like this energy and, mindset that it takes in order to be able to pull off things successfully and also like execute. So I guess my question to you, I'm trying not to put my VC hat on and everything else. So what makes a good business partner?
Honestly, for me, first you gotta be like-minded. You gotta have the same vision. Like the first thing I told them when we started in 2009, I said, if y'all ain't willing to go 10 years, leave now. Because everything I was reading about anybody who made it, especially in entertainment, most of the time it took them 10 years. So I like, if you ain't willing to do this for 10 years, leave now. And no one left. So I'm like, all right, that was a test of their mindset. But then I'm big on actions over words. Like, you can tell me whatever you want to tell me, but I'm going to judge you by your actions. So you can be like, I love you, but if you cheat on me, you don't love me. That's what I think. So everyone in our group, I was looking at how their actions, how they work. Are they living up to what they say they're going to do? Are they trying to improve? Just like example, when y'all shouted out TiVo, when he was writing down the timestamps, he didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
That's just something that he did to help out other people, which in turn helped him. So when I see stuff like that, I'm like, I can get in business with that guy. I could, quote unquote, go to war with that guy. If we in the club and it's 5 against 2, he not going to run. We going to fight. So that's the type of people I need. Action. Even, I believe, Mark and Jolyn. Y'all like that too. Jolyn will be in there fighting. He'll get real unleisurely in there. And Mark will put in an AMD chip, turn into Iron Man. He'll handle it.
I'll be like, yo, you guys didn't know my suit is nanotech?
And I look at actions over words, and like what you guys are doing. Y'all show up every Tuesday and Thursday. Yeah. That's action. Yeah. Like, y'all took one break since I've been watching.
Yeah.
Like, and that's why we need to give y'all flowers. And those are the people I want to go in business with, because I see that they're gonna put in the work.
And for me, I think it's a combination of that, but it's also number one, I think knowing the strengths and weaknesses. I think a lot of partnerships, they're afraid to say where their strengths and weaknesses lie. You know what I'm saying? But I think if you two understand that, that's what makes the team. Like, both of you can't be so strong-headed that you're like, oh, well, I'm strong in this and I'm strong in this. Oh, so we don't have no weaknesses nowhere else? Like, we can't. you gotta be an anchor. That's why I like wearing the anchor around my neck, because you gotta be able to hold it down. You gotta be able to have somebody that you know can put it in the ground and hold down the foundation. That, and I think you also need selflessness, because there are gonna be times when you gotta lift your partner up when they're down, or their spirit isn't right, or they're not just feeling well, and you can't just blow it off. You gotta have some type of empathy and some type of compassion in your partnership. You know what I'm saying? And I think the last thing I look for is, and which is, I feel like one of the most important, is just consistency. Correct. Man, consistency is one of the greatest things to me. And that's why me and him work really well together on ShadySideUp and on our other podcast, Boss Talk, which we have, is because we started Boss Talk in February of 2019. We haven't missed a week since. That's what's up. You know what I'm saying? And not a lot of people can say that about their partnerships. Like, I know one way or another, he gonna show up and get it done. Like, whether it rain, sleet, hail, or snow, family matters, you have to be able to show up and show out. And so I think that's a great thing to look for in a partnership, is consistency, especially in business.
Nice.
Yeah, I agree with that. You know, wait, look, Mark, let me shout you out real quick. Thanks, brother. I appreciate you being partnering all this.
And shout outs to Jolyn too.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you. Okay, so y'all are hella funny. So I want to know what role comedy plays in, you know, your partnership. Are y'all just, when you talk, is it just hee hee ha ha all day nonstop? Talk me through that.
The way we talk to each other is totally unprofessional.
Very.
Totally unprofessional.
It's very.
It's all kind of analogies. I can just bust into our office and just, and then he's like, what? And then I say something. I can be smart. But the important part about it, especially being in a group, is communication, because the way I talk to Rome, I may not be able to talk to someone else. Like, I could be blunt with Rome, but I may have to be more, sensitive the way I say things with another member. But me and him, we born 16 days apart. We basically the same person. Mm-hmm. I can just talk to him and I know it's gonna get done. So, but the whole thing with comedy, that's just us naturally. We're naturally silly guys, and that's what brought us all together. So everything we do, no matter if it's shades or if it's a serious podcast like Boss Talk, it's gonna be some comedy in it. So our shades, it's called ShadySideUp or Flip Off Sunny Side Up, because we love breakfast. So we name most of the shades after breakfast. And if you read the descriptions on the site, they some funny descriptions.
Yeah.
Or Boss Talk is a whole podcast about improving yourself, hiring your vibrations and all that. But the picture is us in fur coats. It's always gonna be comedy, because that's just the way we are. And honestly, comedy makes the world better. Marketing, the best marketing is comedy. You remember the funny commercials. So it's you always should lead with comedy if you're selling or if you're trying to relate to people or lighten the mood. Comedy is everything.
And it's also funny because we like to call we call ourselves, I would say we low key we're like motivational bullies. Like, for example, if and then if I'm in a room and I'm feeling lazy or something, he might walk in and be like, "Oh, you don't want to make no money today. I get it. You don't want to make no money." It's all right. You don't want to make no money today. Or we see each other slacking and be like, "Oh, okay. So you think you just gonna earn by sitting down, not doing nothing? All right, cool. Whatever you want to do."
I'll be like, "Oh, you didn't hear what Mark or Jolyn said in their benediction last night." You watched that.
But so whatever way you got to motivate your partner, you got to motivate your partner. You got to, you got to get it out of them. So, but comedy just saves people's lives, and I think it's just a beautiful thing. And I wanted to say, for anybody that's an entrepreneur and also like an artist or anything else, I've really been trying to come to terms with what my title is, what my thing is, and I figured it out. We are creative entrepreneurs. We're creative in the sense where we write, we act, we do comedy, but at the flip side, we know that business has to get done. You know what I'm saying? So for anybody out there that's been struggling, trying to figure out, well, do I do my business or do I do my art? There's a way to merge both, and you can be just a successful creative entrepreneur easily. So I think that'll help people.
Okay, I want to know. Oh, Mark, you have a question?
Oh, go ahead. You got it.
Okay, I want to know how did you all start the ShadySideUp? What's the story
All right.
I know it's funny.
Should I start from college, Rome?
You can start from college. That's funny.
All right. So we went to Art Institute in Atlanta, and we were staying at this place called Metro Point. So we came there for orientation. So I'm pulling into the parking deck. I see this dude with the biggest tee and shades on, and it was Rome. So I'm looking at him. It's 2006, so it's Soldier Boy big, Soldier.
Everybody had those long white tees. Yep, in my white tee. Yep, okay.
Exactly. I'm like, okay, that's cool. So I don't pay no mind to him. Now I'm coming back like 2 weeks later for the move-in day. And once again, I'm pulling in the parking lot. I see this dude with the shades and big T. I'm like, who is this dude with shades and this big T?
The tee looked like I got it off a bed. That's how big the shirt is.
Huge. So then now, first day of school, I get to class. There's one seat left in this class up front next to this dude named Figs. So we kick it off. We talking. He's like, hey, you want to meet my friends after we got out of class? I said, sure. We come downstairs. His friend is sitting with this dude that got the big T and shades on. So I'm like, I got to meet you. I keep seeing you. And it was Rome. And then from that point, he always had on shades and always loved shades. And like years ago, he said, I'm going to start a shades business one day. I said, cool. I'm like, all right. Years passed. The pandemic hit. Everyone's stuck at home. I'm telling everyone, make sure you take advantage of it. Make sure you come out on top. Start that business that you always was putting off. Do something productive. You'll never have this much time again. Mm-hmm. And we had funds. And I was like, hey, you still want to do that shades line? He was like, yeah. And that was March of 2020, and we launched in August.
Yeah, and what's funny about that is like we take a quote from the late Nipsey, who we love, and he said, "Listen, I spoke some things into the universe and made it appear." So like I spoke it years ago. That's how powerful our words are. You can just speak things like out of the air, because I wasn't even thinking about, one day I'm gonna have a shades company, and the universe was like, all right, I'm gonna bring it around to you, see if we can see if you're really about that life, and brought it around and we started. And for us, and I think for a lot of entrepreneurs, we get a lot of analysis paralysis, and so I think the main thing we have to do is just start, and that's what we did. We didn't know too much about e-commerce. We knew how to start a production company, so we did that when we were younger. But this is a new space for us. But we were like, you know what? We like to jump in and reverse engineer. So we're going to jump in, start, and then work backwards. And I think that'll help a lot of people, because the main problem that people have is starting. Yep. You know what I'm saying? So we were like, let's start. At least we know how to get the LLC and all that stuff. Now, when it comes to like getting the products and private labeling and how to talk to these manufacturers, that's a whole new ballpark. Then we started a business in California, and Lord have mercy, it's a lot of funds you got to put out in California to start your business. So, yeah.
I think what it is like we got to the point where we're comfortable being uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
We know growth is in the discomfort.
Yes.
So we know if we're uncomfortable or we kind of fearful, we know like rewards on the other side of that. So we run towards that now, because I came to this conclusion now. Do things that's hard to make your life easy. Because say you wake up early and you invest in your money instead of blowing it, you eating right, you exercising. Guess what all that leads to? Financial abundance, more productivity, better health. And what does that make your life? Easy.
Yeah.
So doing the hard things make your life easier, not doing the easy things.
And all you're doing is cultivating a circle of wellness. Every time you do it, you're just cultivating a circle of wellness. And it's like, what else could you ask for? And you gotta know, we understood that, hey, we're not where we want to be, but we know we want to go. But we understood that we had to blossom exactly where we were planted. We had to blossom exactly where our garden was, and feed that seed and water that seed, and cultivate that garden to get it to where it has to go. And we were able and diligent enough to do that. And we ended up launching in August, and it's been a little over a year now, and we're on our way.
On the cusp of six-figure business.
Cusp for six figures.
Right there.
Cusp. So, on the cusp. So.
And still,
where can people place their orders so we can get you over there?
Oh, man. Oh, well, should I
We're going to hold it to the end, but go ahead.
We can throw it in. We can go ahead and throw it in the chat.
I'm gonna drop this. I can say it again in the end, but we doing something special just for the come up cousins. We just for the come up cousins.
Hey,
everybody. ShadySideUp.com.
Yeah, it's ShadySideUp.com.
We got something special for y'all at the end.
But it's ShadySideUp.com. But we got something special for the come up cousin. But we'll tell them at the end. But yeah, right now it's ShadySideUp.com. So
let's start getting. I'm gonna raise the VIX in the room a little bit.
Let's go.
So we were at like a 17. I'm gonna bring us to a 19.
Okay, all right.
Let's talk about legacy. Let's talk about legacy and wealth building.
Mm-hmm.
What does it mean to you?
For me, it's everything. Like, first, when I think of legacy, I think of impact.
Mm-hmm.
And before I get to the wealth part, I just think about like our mission together, especially I can just sense Rome here is like to help people. Like, we know that laughter is a form of medicine.
Yep.
And we know that could heal. And we've gotten emails over the years of people that they say we helped them with their depression. We had people that they said they were in the psych ward and our videos helped them. So we knew that like the power of just a laugh has on the spirit. So, and then we started doing boss talk and just teaching people what we're learning as we go. It's not saying we're experts or anything. We just spitting out what we're learning on this journey. And I realized the impact it has on people. And it's like, I learned life, especially like after all the people I lost this year, that life is about the act of service.
Mm-hmm.
It's serving. And that's all I want to do is just serve people. That's why I ask God every day, use me as a vessel for good and positivity. And then when someone called me, I got to answer. Mm-hmm. I got a call yesterday. My homeboy, he needed a photo shoot right quick for his album cover. It was dropping. I just dropped everything I was doing, went to help him because like I said, use me, so I'm going to be used. But as far as wealth building, it's like, especially in the Black community, you know what all been taken from us. We come from kings, we come from royalty. So wealth is everything to pass down to the next generation. Cause I remember we was listening to, what's the sports podcast? He broke it down so beautifully. With Brandon Marshall and them.
I Am Athlete.
Yeah, they had a guy on there. He said, when most of these guys get drafted, he says, where does the money go up? And he says it goes back. It doesn't go forward because they got to go and take care of mom. They got to go take care of grandma. They got to go take care of everybody else. And instead of it being invested and going forward, like most other ethnicities. So it's like, we just need to be able to get in this position. That's why this show is so important to me. Like, I feel like this is the most important show because it's wealth building and changing lives. That's going to change generations. Mm-hmm. And with wealth, we can build whatever we want and do whatever we want. So it's everything to me.
And so I'll go the opposite. And I'll go the opposite direction. I'll do wealth first. I think the biggest thing with wealth is minor adjustments for major improvements. And that's exactly what wealth is, because it takes one little small step to change the trajectory of history from here on out. Correct. So that's why it's so important. I tell people, like, you don't have to start with $1 million or 100,000, 1,000. You can start with 50. You can start with $10. You can start whatever it is.
We started with nothing.
Or nothing, or nothing. Because building wealth isn't just about the physical and the tangible. It's about the intangible that you have in your mind, that you understand where it's going. You know what I'm saying? So wealth is just it's a mindset. It's an embodiment. You know, I don't think it's just a physical thing. It's a whole embodiment. And I think that's the same thing with legacy. People always talk about legacy when you die. No. Live the legacy while you're here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because yes, when you die, it's going to happen. But while you're living, understand that legacy. So each point you make, you understand that it's dipping into your legacy vault. You know what I'm saying? It's dipping into everything that you have going on. So every time you make a move, you be like, I just put another coin in my legacy bank. I just did another, and now every day a little legacy crypto coin, So now every day now you're waking up with that legacy mentality. And I'm reading a book now called The Dynamic Laws of Prosperity. And it says each one of us has gold dust in the air. So that legacy gold dust is floating around each one of us, especially in this community, because we move culture, we shape culture, we got gold dust in the air. So every day you wake up, understand you can grab that gold dust and change your life, because everything that we as a people touch turns to gold. So
hey, hold on. Y'all don't hear him. Put an ear in the chat.
I was gonna say, for those that don't understand, for the people that don't understand, think about it like this. wealth is not about money. It's never about money. Wealth is about knowing that you have options.
Yep.
Like that's the biggest thing. That like when we think about wealth, it's not about money because poor people can have money, rich people can have money, whatever it is. It's a tangible item. It can burn up. It's paper. The biggest thing is knowing that you have options to do other things.
Yep.
It's bigger than just earning a coin here and there. It's about knowing that hey, like for example, if you pick up what they're saying, because I definitely am. Think about it. There was Dormtainment, ShadySideUp, and then on top of that, we got Boss Talk. And I'm probably sure that there's another thing cooking somewhere in the near future.
So Comedy Trap House podcast.
Oh, Comedy Trap House.
Yeah.
So it's about having that. It's about having those options and building those things in place. Like I always say, riches can be taken, wealth is built.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Now, there's something that, I noticed something because you guys talked a little bit about investing. Talk to us about your investment journey. Like, what's that been like?
Ooh.
Whoa. Okay, so we're going to take a water break because...
Take a little water.
Hey,
a little water.
I heard y'all talking about my jug. We on the 75 hard challenge, so I got to drink a gallon a day. That's why
Before we get into investing, because he said that real quick, I'll just say this one thing real quick because we're doing a 75 hard challenge. If you don't know what it is, you can look it up, 75 hard challenge. But the reason we're doing it is because it goes back to that legacy thing. We already are disciplined, but we knew coming into the fourth quarter, we needed something because we always want to finish better than we started. So we was like, we need something that's going to get us on the right path, the right momentum leading into 2022. And so this 75 hard challenge, the way it has us like locked in, it's such a beautiful thing. And it kind of reminds me of how you got to get locked in, especially with the stock market, because you got to understand, you got to read, you got to be locked in. So yeah, we can talk about this investment journey for sure.
All right. So just like everything else in our life, we dove straight in. We first engineered. So before I found y'all, Mark, I just started trading. I didn't even start paper trading. I got just a couple hundred.
Just go for it. Just go for it.
You know what happened.
Yes, I
do. Lost it. All right. Let me go do some research. And then I found you on EYL, your episode.
Okay.
And I was like, I like this guy's energy. I'm a big energy guy. I go up there. I'm like, I just feel something in his spirit. I'm like, let me watch his series. And I've been watching ever since. I like, this is who I'm going to follow. Mm-hmm. And then you and Jolyngc started talking about the long term and the ETFs. And I was like, I like this play. Mm-hmm. And I started researching XLK and XLY. And one of my favorites, SMH. That showed me some beautiful things. XLY and SMH have shown me some beautiful things. But what I had to learn was I am a long-term trader.
Okay.
But I had like a weekly trader mindset.
So you got long-term mindset, but weekly trader tendencies.
Yes.
One of the things
I had to get out of that at the beginning, but go ahead, Ron.
I'm about to say what it is. One of the things is, especially in trading, I think a quote that our homeboy said on our Boss Talk podcast, he was like, a lot of people have A to Z mindsets, but not A to B movements. And when he said that, I was like, ooh,
powerful.
Because what Cameron just described was A to B movements, because I did the same thing. But go ahead.
So then I started realizing the lesson I learned. First, I made more money doing the long-term trades than I did any of the dailies or the weeklies. Okay. So what you saying, what you preaching is truth.
Absolutely.
So that's what I'm on with the rolling forwards. But what I learned, just like if y'all ever seen 300, the Spartans say, sweat more in training, you bleed less in war. And I took that to the stock market where, you sweat more in your research, you bleed less in your portfolio. You'll have less red days. And the more research I started doing and the more time I started applying, the better my trades got and the higher returns I got. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, and because I definitely agree with him. And it's good to have a kind of accountability, like partner when you're going into trading, because those days that you like, hey man, you know what's going on? Like, oh, hey, you know, you can help each other out, because especially when you new in it, because you know, I'm gonna be transparent with the cousins, because we cousins here, we family. I messed around. I got lax on my research at one point, and my XLY hit a real suffrage point, my option. But I went to Cam and I said, hey man, what do you think I should do? Should I just cut my losses here? And he was like, to be honest, you already so far gone at this point, you might as well stay and see what happens. And I'm glad he said that, because when I stayed and see what happens, it came back and I got out of there oh so fast when it came. But it's because I didn't do my due diligence. And I think you have to have those moments. You have to always remind yourself, like, this is what happens when I don't put in the work. You know, this is what happens when I don't sit down and read my charts and understand what's going on. So it happened. I was like, and then we got this thing where we're like, all right, no more. It's no more, not happening no more. You got to get fed up with yourself before you get fed up. You
forgot our other humbling moment. So the end of 2020, I'm doing all this research, everything in my portfolio is hitting. I'm like, I got this. Oh yeah, I'm doing it. Oh, no. I got a tad bit of ego. And then February and March came and humbled me, like all the rest of us. And then it just went down. I was like, all right, I still have a lot to learn. I've only been in here under a year, so it's still, I have a lot to learn and see. But now I'm prepared for this next February and March. Yeah. And then I asked Jolyn, when do I take profits? Like months ago. Mm-hmm. And now I'm an expert at it, I feel, at least in my portfolio, because it's like, once I take that risk off the table, it's a beautiful thing. I just let it run.
You just sit back and you're like, when you hit that button, you're like,
yeah. Exhale. Like, that's my favorite thing to do. Shave contracts.
That's the lesson for everybody. When you shave, get the shaving. Get your Gillette system and get the shaving and do what you need to do. But I have a question for you two. I guess this will be a good time for that. With everything we have going and other people who are in here who are entrepreneurs, who have a lot going on, what would be your advice to do, like the due diligence and best research? You know, because that it can be time consuming. Like, what would you say? Like, dedicate a certain amount of hours, or what would you say to somebody out there that's like trying to figure out exactly how to research?
I'll let you go first, Jolyn.
Go ahead.
I see that the VIX is raising, so we went from 19. We at 21 now, so.
Go ahead.
So, I will say that yesterday, okay, y'all know I was filming Wealth Rituals. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so episode 2 is all about making a ritual out of research.
Nice.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay. Okay.
Wow.
You're hitting it right on the head. You have to treat it. And I will say this, you have to treat your research as if it is sacred.
Yeah.
That is key, because this is we are fortunate enough to be in a situation, time and place, where we have access to everything. Praise God for the internet, okay? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Praise him for strong Wi-Fi connections, because everything that you need to know is there. So there really isn't any excuse, but it is about setting that time. And you all talk about consistency and you talk about discipline, and just like, that part when it comes to being creative and cultivating a practice of creative expression, you got to be the same way with the research. Mm-hmm. So when I first started, the max amount of time that I could give was 10 hours a week. Mm-hmm. And I started with 10 hours a week, and I executed my 10 hours a week faithfully, and I kept track of it. So I knew if there was a time where, okay, I only got 9 hours in this week. Okay, well, it's not the end of the world. I'm gonna just pick it back up, and what I started to notice was that correlation between research and what my portfolio reflected back to me. Every time I opened up my portfolio, it was just like, see, I noticed those 10 hours. Let me break you off a little something. See, I noticed that you stayed up late last night reading this. You know, check that performance. You know what I mean? And so it is that consistency. So for me personally, I started with 10 hours per week. And then I think in year 2, I increased it to 15 hours per week. And now, like, it's just fully embodied. I don't really think about it. It's just, you know, not you, Rome, but Cam and I think you're a part of it too, but I don't know. But Cam and I, we talking about like the robe gang, like being in the robe in the morning time, you know, for as long as possible. And that's usually a part of that research vibe. Like I love to, you know, sit down and have my whatever. I'll have some coffee, make a latte or whatever, cappuccino, whatever I'm in the mood for. And then I get to my research and I pretty much am consistent with what I listen to.
Absolutely.
Oh man. So when I started, I literally would probably put in about maybe 30 hours of research a week. And I look at it like this. Do your due diligence on companies just like you do your due diligence on people.
Okay.
Like when you are getting ready to meet someone or when you're getting ready to like, you know, go into business with someone, you want to get to know everything that there is about that person and ultimately understanding, like you said, their vibe, the energy, what is it that they can bring to the table, all those types of things. Well, the same thing is like, you know, your money is getting ready to make friends with probably a position or a trade for such a period of time. And so you want to do your due diligence. And so for me, what I do is, for my vibe is now that I've been in this for a minute, you know, I probably maybe spend a few minutes now going through a company because of the fact that I've received so much information over time. One of the things that I notice is when you first start out, you set out like an explorer until you find that moment where you got it. And then when you got it, then now it's like, okay, hey, that information never leaves you. So now you're now connecting dots. And as you start connecting more dots, you actually start studying less and less and less and less and less and less. But now you're just seeking of more information. It just becomes who you are. So you just like researcher, like you set out as a researcher, but then you become the researcher. So now it's going to be no more like, okay, hey, I'm actually sitting down and taking the time to do this. It's more like, this is just who I am. I'm just going to be like, oh, well, what's going on in this? What's going on here? What's going on here? And then those dots start to connect. And then essentially from there, it's like, it starts to feel more so like effortless.
Yeah.
It's even more fun when you can talk to somebody about it. Like maybe, you know, you two have each other, but even for the come up cousins, you just call somebody and be like, girl, did you see what happened with XYZ or whatever? Right? You know, and bring the reports. Like Mark and I will send each other a text like, did you see that? You know, and that also is nice.
I started off talking to myself just as a heads up.
I tell Rome all the time, like, hey, my portfolio up today. Talk to me nice. So, but I got two questions for y'all.
All right, let's do it.
One fun one, but one serious. Like, you know, I said I want to talk about ETF.
Yes.
And you named it when you spit it out, one of them. So,
I felt
the main one was the Meta ETF. Let's talk about it.
Let's do it.
It's new on the block. You know, we all techies. We love technology. And I'm looking at it. And I'm like, this thing got chips. It got gaming. It got VR. And then Nike just announced they doing Nike Land, teaming up with Roblox. You know that's going to be crazy. So it's like, what do you think about that ETF? And where do you see that going? Because I want to invest maybe not in the options right now since it's so new. But
maybe just a stock.
There.
Yeah.
When it go down.
Funny fact, it kind of looks like the Come Up Series pick list, but that's a whole nother day. But but what I will say this is, one good idea on the stock, especially if you're trying to get more depth of understanding, like, okay, hey, where are we at in this grand scheme of things of Metaverse? I still believe that we're at the very, very beginning. You know, like everybody's going to try to slap on a Metaverse tag to things. I think that there's going to be more companies that are going to be added to this ETF. I don't think that this ETF is done. So I think that over time, you're going to see things get stretched. Also, I believe that, you know, really, I don't think that they're going to be the only ETF out there in the market for Metaverse either.
Okay.
I don't think that they're going to be the only one, but I think that, there's something when we look at the stock market, there's something about being the first. When you look at technology ETFs, when you think about tech focus, what's the first one that comes to your mind? There's a million of them out there, but the first thing that everybody thinks of is probably, XOK. And so there's also, I think that there's a place here for Meta. I believe, like I said, I think that there's some companies in there that they got to show a little bit more as it pertains to like, okay, hey, where are we at in the grand scheme of things of Meta? But for the most part, no, good ETF, great ETF. I think that let it die down a little bit because there's a lot of,
I've been waiting.
There's a lot of enthusiasm into it. And I think that there's a lot of folks that are trying to hitch their wagon into this ETF long before we even start to see any of these things start to solidify. Because here's some things that people are kind of like trying to wrap their heads around. Nike getting into Roblox should have been done. Either that or in, say, for example, Minecraft. That's another place. The thing is, are those really metaverses yet? No. They're not metaverses until we start to see in multiple different use cases where the technology becomes ubiquitous, where we go from, VR, mixed reality, or also even holographic technology, all embedded where they're able to talk to each other. I think that we got probably maybe 2-3 years to go from there. So, but I think that ultimately if Meta stays the course and if they add in some more significant infrastructure companies in there, then you pretty much have a very complete Metaverse ETF for now.
Let me add something though. This is for the come up cousins, y'all. Okay, so it is exciting, it's all new or what have you, but we were talking about this on Twitter. Some of y'all are still building up liquidity. Yep. So if you're going to be building up liquidity, you're not going to get that with Metaverse ETF. You can buy the stock, but you're not going to get that same liquidity yet because, as Mark just stated, it's like 2 or 3 years out. So if you are thinking about getting it, then the stock versus the option is probably getting with the stock is probably more strategic. And at the same time, investing in something like XOK that is already established as a parent, you can build up your liquidity. And then by the time your liquidity is built up, now you can leverage Metaverse. We'll talk about more, about that on a later episode. But I just want, don't fall for the shiny and new right away, y'all. Don't do it. Take the time as it's new in its infancy, start reading about the Metaverse and really getting that research part down so that then you will know when it's time to pivot into that and leverage your liquidity. Because if you don't have liquidity, you can't leverage anything.
Correct.
I'm sorry to disappoint you, Jolynn, for wanting to buy Meta.
No, you can buy it. I'm just saying.
I'm going to let you down. I hit J. Cole when he said he let Nas down.
Yeah, he didn't want it. He didn't know he was going to get yelled at. No,
But okay, my second question, it may get a little spicy. Let me switch shades.
Yo, I got it's getting hot in here. Yo, come on.
I think I may go to the lemon pepper.
Yeah, you got a lot of options of shades over there, man. That's crazy.
Yeah. So for this one, answer it if you want or not, because this is a fun question for everybody. We talk about walking away a lot on here. Okay. Being able to walk away. We know you guys are very walk away, but we know it's levels to walking away.
Correct.
How many years do you think till you guys walk away with $1 billion?
That's a good question. Well, I always tell Mark, I'm just down the street and around the corner, homie. And Kim, I think we talked about this before, actually. I see realistically, even if you just look at the rolling forest math, you see where it pops up. It's in less than 10 years. I think it was at the 8-year mark. If you started with, I think it was less than 10,000. And so I'm going to say by the time, this is for me personally, by the time Mark and I actually pass this torch, because we ain't going to be here forever, pass this come up series torch to the next, batch of OG cousins that's going to take over, trust and believe. There will be a Billy. Okay. I might even just change my name to Billy at that point. But again, I really do think that with the way things are going, when we talk about, you know, the compounding and the new math, it's like, if you just let the new math think for you, that acceleration will probably be faster, will probably take place faster than what I'm actually speaking into existence.
Yeah.
So let me just look up a date right quick so we can keep it all the way funky.
And while you do that, what's funny, I asked that this as a fun question, but I asked it so people can be inspired and know that there's other ways to make billions outside of entertainment and sports. Like you can do it in your home, at your desk, if you put in the research.
Hey,
go ahead.
Are we talking about billionaire? So meaning that essentially if I lose $1 billion, I still have $1 billion, or am I just saying just kissing $1 billion?
Kissing $1 billion.
Kissing $1 billion.
Well, I think I already told everybody like when my time comes up from the Come Up series, right?
Yeah.
What's the year, Jolyn?
I thought you said like 2024.
Correct. I'm done. I will no longer, like, the moment that I'm no longer trading anymore, that's when I have kissed it. I'm no longer there anymore.
Oh yeah.
Do it for you, Mark. I'm gonna do it for you, Mark.
You ever? he just came in the room and said, "I'm out. I'm out."
Like, at that point, like, you know, I will say this: by that time, by 2024, which is not that far away, you know, we'll be at this point. Yeah, I mean, pretty much around that time, December 31st, 2024. You know, that's it for me. You know, honestly, it's pretty much fade to black. Pass the torch, pass on the baton. You know, I'll still be around for the most part, but I won't be an active trader anymore. There will be no necessary need for it. And on top of that, you know, for me, it's just the world will need, you know, my skills and my abilities elsewhere. You know, like subsidizing schools. You know, my goal is to get to teachers should make $100K a year.
Minimum.
Yeah.
And what's funny about that, like, as I went back to the earlier statement, actions over words, it's people that stand out in the cousins based on their actions and the way they move in this space. And I want to put up, for the person you pass the torch to, TiVo, Zay, and Lex. I think I would nominate them.
Okay.
Possible.
Okay. Well, just remember, this is going to get way bigger. Like, this is going to get way bigger. So
I'm just saying where we at right now, you know.
Well, you all know I am partial to TiVo, so TiVo is legit my little brother that I discovered on the internet. So.
I want to say this, you know, because I know we're wrapping up. So I want to say this. I think the coolest thing about the Come Up Cousins and about what you guys are doing, and which I just learned that, well, not just learned, but I've known that these conferences, I've been investing and going to these conferences and being around people who are touching millions of dollars and being in the atmosphere, being in a room. Everybody that's in here, guess what? You in the room. You know what I'm saying? Like you in the room.
You're in the room.
Every week.
You're in the air.
You are in the air, breathing the air. And so we can't take these times for granted. You are in the room, and the proximity effect is real, because it just starts to circulate. All that energy starts to circulate. And then, you know, once we all touching billies, you know, we coming in, we dropping the mic, and then that's it. So, you know,
just know that there's another project coming there's a reason for this wealth journey to happen. Like,
for sure.
There's a bigger project, and this one is going to be, it's like, I can do it by myself, but where's the fun in that?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And let me just put this out there too for the cousins that are tuning in right now, especially if you're looking at your portfolio and you're feeling like that billion is far, far away. Yo, besides just the new math, y'all, having a startup and that idea, like, you could be a billionaire overnight. And so don't discount like your own genius. Like, pick a date that you're going to be the billionaire and watch the universe align and show up on your behalf, show up and show out. So that goes back to that thinking bigger. And there's going to be a period in time where $1 billion is not even big enough. It's going to be like feeling like pocket change, y'all. Do not limit yourself to not getting paid.
You know what? I like that type of pocket change. That's some good pocket change right there. That's solid pocket change.
Gotta have good pockets for that.
That's some good pockets right there. That's some big pockets.
And then to know that you won't be alone. Like you'll look to your left and look to your right, and just billionaires like, what? Come on now.
Cookout gonna be crazy.
Cookout gonna be wild.
Cookout gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be way spicier than that one.
Oh, I mean, I didn't want to go too crazy. I didn't know if y'all would answer that. You know, that could be a private.
When you come to the come up series, there is no question that's off the table. No question that's off the table.
Okay.
So it sounds like we're gonna like, yo, Cam is gonna be like, look, man, let's get this round 2 going for another episode coming in 2022.
Yeah, we love.
Oh wait, do you guys want to answer like 5 minutes? Y'all want to answer some questions?
Oh,
Sure.
Yeah.
Because we got questions coming in from the cousins. Okay, so let's bring these up. Let me make sure none of these are Googleables. All right. Okay. What do you all think about the following? Oh, here's a softball question. Okay. So you know how there's been talk about having a new Fed chair. And so a lot of cousins were asking, how will the market react negatively if there is a new Fed chair put in place, AKA Brother Jerome pieces out?
I was going to say, it just depends on the attitude of that person. Because, like Jerome be passive a lot. He let other people say things. He be trying to keep it, kind of even kill. But if someone else come in and they more like a Trump type personality and get more spicy, they'll have the market just going up and down.
Yeah.
So I just think it's on the temperament of the person, to be honest.
And I will also add that the market does not like uncertainty. We know what we're getting with Brother Jerome, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if we get someone brand new, expect that pullback because the market does not like uncertainty. If we don't really know what the person's doing, then that could happen. It doesn't mean that it's going to last forever, but that is a possibility.
Yep.
Mark, you want to add?
Yeah, so I would say this. I think her name is Brainerd.
Brainerd.
And so interesting thing is that her and Jerome Powell are a lot alike. And there's actually in some circles that say that she's more dovish, meaning that she's more on the lighter tone. So which means that, hey, let's ease back on rate hikes. Let's ease back on some of the tapering and some of the rhetoric. So she actually may be more dovish than Jerome Powell is, though that Jerome Powell is more market focused and like understanding like, okay, hey, the economy needs this. She may be in for, let's say, dovishness, but with a political focus. And I think that can cause a little bit of slight uncertainty within the market because now you have a figure that's already dovish within his own right in Jerome Powell. What happens now when we bring that through for Brainerd? And she's very dovish, but more so in the sense of a progressive focus agenda that's been brought to you in part. So I would say that that's what the market is definitely going to be watching. So they're both kind of like cut from the same cloth. I mean, she has served on the board of governors for quite some time for the Fed, but I would say, yeah, definitely she would be more political versus letting Powell stay on and continue his job.
Okay, last question. What is the benefit of rolling to a 2024 position when the 2025s are about to open? Thoughts?
That's a good question.
It depends based on your money.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to
know. The more expensive it's gonna be. So if you can't afford 2025, you need to build up that liquidity first, or just stick with the 2024. But it's always about time. That's what Mark and Jolene taught us. It's time. The more time you got, the better off you are.
Time and research. Back to your research.
You should go ask those folks with NVIDIA 2023s.
See, I'm
or
partial to putting
those SMH
away.
2023s.
Oh yeah, I got some right now.
But I'll say this, like in all honesty, one, definitely it's about more so what your risk tolerance is, because when you buy more time, then essentially you're removing risk off of the table. That's the first thing. If you don't want that extra time, then essentially you've accepted that there's a little bit more risk and volatility there. I would also say, I mean, if you're a long-term strategist, honestly, the 2024s or the 2025s can be, say, for example, if you're doing the rolling fours, that could be the next thing. So you could still have them all. The beautiful thing about the rolling fours, if you're executing them well, then you're staggering the position so that way you have staggered exits.
Mm-hmm.
That's really where it comes down to.
Well, we've come to that time, and you had something that you wanted to.
Oh, yeah, man.
Before you get to that, I want to say one last thing before you get to that.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to shout out the consistency. I got my liners in, so it'd be messed up. Consistency that Jolynn shows every episode. She change up her hair, her fits. That's consistency, y'all. That's dedication. Shout out her for that.
Yeah, and that's really nice because I don't even know if I got that much to be washing. You know what I'm saying? I can't be washing all them clothes. That's solid. That's good.
I just really appreciate creative expression, so I gotta switch it up, y'all. Thank you.
But the surprise, so for all the come up cousin, man, because we love everybody in here, man, because it's a community of like-minded individuals elevating each other. What you guys are doing is a beautiful thing. And so, of course, we have our shades. Of course, we are a growing Black business, you know. And so what we want to do for the come up cousin, now, literally, we haven't done this for anybody else. This is just for the come up cousins. Mm-hmm. The come up cousins, they get a week early Black Friday sale, and not only a week early, but they get more than what we're going to give out to everybody else. For the come up cousins, the come up cousins get 30% off. It's the biggest percentage off.
Y'all are generous.
Come up cousins get 30% off. All you got to use is the code come up 30 on our site, all capital. Hey. It's yours. Come up 30.
And we ship fast.
We ship fast. We try to make it as quick as possible for the cousins. Come up 30 is the code. You can go get that. And I mean, listen, man. And actually the code is going to be live for the next 48 hours. So you got a full 48 hours to go grab the code before it's taken down. But we just want to do that for you guys, man, because you blessed us with the opportunity to be on here. So we hoping we can bless others and we can get them nice and shady for the holidays, you know. So, you know, there we go.
Thank you.
We got to keep it shady, you know. Come on. You know? Y'all, that is so awesome. You know, I'm going to have to cop me some more pair because when they say ship and they gets here on time, yo, check it out. These got here right on time. I didn't even know that. Y'all, I'm terrible when it comes to checking the mail. For real, I am terrible. But it's like, yo, had the mail checked, and then ultimately, what was sitting in there? My wonderful new sunglasses, and I'm gonna have to keep them away from Butter because he likes to go for my glasses. So,
see, that's a wealth flex. That's a wealth flex, Mark. I check my mail every day for the unexpected check. Every day. 12 at the dot. I got two in the last 2 weeks, 2 unexpected checks. So I'm really checking now. Hey.
Yeah, so y'all go grab you some shades, man. You know, and we hope you tag us in the pictures, whatever you want to do. And yeah, man, we hope y'all enjoy that gift. Come up 30. It's yours.
Oh, I'm definitely gonna take advantage, so don't worry. I'm gonna be there. And y'all, I may actually have to do some photos and show folks in my best shady side because everybody's on which side is it? Is it the left? Is it the right?
The left side.
Left side. Okay. Well, y'all, thank you so much for rocking with us. Yo, it's like both sides got placed on the hot seat. They were on the hot seat of questions, and then I got placed on the hot seat. See, that's the way this should be. I'm all for it. Y'all, I hope that you guys definitely come back. Don't be strangers. We definitely love to have you guys back on the show. And I mean that because seriously, we want to definitely stay unto your journey.
For real.
Yes. We definitely want to come back. And for those who want to tap into our Boss Talk community, man, please, we love talking about all this stuff, like uplifting. We like I said, we release a new video every Wednesday. It's at real Boss Talk on Instagram, and the Patreon is patreon.com/Boss Talk. We're just building that community over there. So check us out, man. Follow us, all that good stuff, man.
What's your socials?
Mine is at I Roam a Lot. That's IROME a lot. IROME a lot. That's mine.
Yeah, mine is at Cam from DT. So CAM from DT. And we going to after our challenge, our 75 hard challenge, end on December 27th, and we go into Africa for the first time.
Hey.
29th. So anybody out there in the car or Senegal, any cousins out there, let us know. We'll link up.
Yeah.
Be for the new year.
And of course, follow at the ShadySideUp. Of course, let's go follow the Shady. We got so many handles, man. We'll just have to put all the handles in the chat.
Yeah, we're gonna have to put them. Well, no, we'll put all the handles in the description in this video. We're gonna have to.
There we go.
And also for the people out there, I want you guys to do something special. I want you, when you get your shades, I want you guys to like literally tag the ShadySideUp alongside with the Come Up series. And you never know, maybe the best photo gets an entry into the Matrix this year.
Okay. And maybe in the future we'll collab and make us Come Up series shades.
Come Up Shady. And make it Come Up Shady.
Hey. Yo, just make sure. I already have the name for mine, King Petty.
Oh, there you go.
Those gonna be regal. We gotta get some
regal shades. Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah.
Y'all, thank you so much. Y'all, if you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button down below and be sure to subscribe. And on top of that, hit the bell so that way you can be a part of the notification squad, aka the Cool Kids Club. Hey, I have a question. What cousins are y'all? Like, for real? Because y'all are, like, people don't know. Y'all are OG cousins.
Okay.
Like,
I'm the I would say I'm the right there with y'all cousin.
Okay.
That's the cousin I am. I'm with y'all.
You said right there with y'all cousin. You know what? I'm the cousin with the toes out at the barbecue. I'm the cousin with the toes out.
I'm gonna be honest, he got some long toes. His toes like fingers, y'all. He got finger for toes.
Listen, I got long. That's why I got my toes out, because I'm looking at the long-term plays for the toes.
You gonna think someone grabbing a plate with their hand, but it's
he on that long-term walk away.
Oh yeah. You wear size 13. He has some.
Hey, you wear size 13?
Yeah.
I see you out here. We out here.
Yeah, we out here.
That's hilarious.
Yo, until next time, y'all, be classy. And on top of that, I think I'm going to be on Twitter tonight, Twitter Spaces with Cousin Q. So there may be an after Come Up series talk. So if you guys want to join us there, feel free. But y'all, thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, keep learning, keep researching, keep growing, because you know what we say. The more you learn, the more you earn. Until next time, I'm Mark Monroe.
I'm Rome Green.
Cameron Miller.
And I'm jolyngc, and the place to be.
And this has been your Come Up. We'll see y'all next week. Peace, y'all.